Okay, so I have a story for you guys. Why am I laughing? I have a story.
I love a good story.
I hate drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it so much. In fact, we drank a few days ago, maybe 2, for the Summer Originals opening. And we drank Smirnoff Ice Smashed. They're like big cans and 2 flavors.
They get you fucked up.
It's this big, 8%, 2 cans. I drank 2 cans. Did you drink 2 or just 1?
I drink 2.
Yeah, we drank 2 cans. I was super fucking gone, and I hated every second of it. I was like, why did we do this to ourselves? I would rather be high right now. And I was just like, I couldn't stand up straight. When I laid down, the room was spinning, and I was like, this is gross. And then the next morning, I was like, fuck my life.
It was like, for me, I was, when I'm high, I'm just trying to vibe, you know? But when I get drunk, I'm like, my brain processes everything so completely that I come up with like 5 different business plans for different ideas when I'm drunk and like have to talk them out with everybody that's next to me.
I am so dead.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
But when I'm high, I'm like...
You just, basically we talk too much. Talk way too goddamn much when we're drunk. And the whole time I was like, can I just stop? But I couldn't. It was like free thought all at once. So yeah, anyway, after I woke up like horribly hungover, I was like, never again. Why? What's even the purpose? And that's how I feel.
When you feel the cold wind blow and all the leaves change color, the frightening monsters finally show that they have been hidden amongst the other. They have been watching you with their piercing red eyes. Don't look back if you are wise. You must keep running, running, running from the
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Claudio.
And we're the Hi Guys. We hope that you guys are enjoying our Halloween movie list and having a super spookums time.
In today's episode, we wanted to add some more options for those of you who enjoy animation in all forms. Horror movies are a staple during the spooky season with their big spooks and goops.
But lest we forget about the spooky vibe, you can love the autumny spooky vibes, and you don't have to be in love with all the gore and all the scary stuff, because, bitch, that's scary. You shouldn't have to do anything you don't want to do. But you can still have a good time, and that's why we're here today. So we've compiled a compact compendium consciously crafted with you in mind. So we've compiled a compact compendium. We've compiled a compact compendium.
So, are you joking now?
So we've compiled a compact compendium. So we've compiled a compact compendium consciously crafted with you in mind.
Oh.
I just channeled my inner Drew Barrymore.
We're talking Over the Garden Wall.
Yes.
Or we're talking Infinity Train. Before we get into any of these, I would just like to take a moment to tell you something about our passion for animation. First off, animation is not a genre. It is a storytelling art form all on its own. And literally the thought process behind that is like, you're telling me that animation is its own genre? Then what's the vibe? Like, what the fuck? Drama is a genre. Horror is a genre. Thrillers, suspense. But if you just say animation is a genre, what does that even mean? Does all the animated movies have the same themes? They're not all for children. They're not all for, like, just adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't really say that it's a genre. It's a fucking art form. And it has its own genres, like, within it. It can obviously, like, dabble, because all genres are always brought up.
Because we're not going to be like, what genre is that? And I'm going to be like, oh, theater. That's not a genre. It's an art form.
And most animators hate the idea of animation being put in a genre box because it is far more than that. And because with animation, you can tell, like, any story. It has no limits to it. And there are animated shows for adults and some that are just not intended for just adults or just children. Like, it's not meant for either one. It's just a show that anyone can watch. And it has, animation has so much heart to it. It is, like, handmade through and through. And it takes, like, 9 months to make an 11-minute or, like, 20-minute episode of a show. Like, can you imagine? Every frame they choose, they make, and they have to design every single frame that you see. And so, like, animation doesn't have any room for, like, flaws.
Yeah. You always say, like, there's no room for stuff that doesn't matter. So everything that they draw matters because they have to, like, literally put so much effort into it. It's not like it's just like some B-roll that the camera picked up, you know? It's a whole... It's so good and it has to be so well thought out because it's also part of the whole, like, not only do you have the actor playing the voice actor, but, like, there's so many people who have to draw and write and also sort of portray the emotion that the character's feeling without saying anything, without the voice of the actor and having to, like, match that. It's just so personal.
And honestly, like, in animation, you can do literally anything, create entire environments that have the same aesthetic. And I feel like some of the stories that are being told in live action can be told better as animation. And for that thought process, it's like, when bad CGI shows up in movies, doesn't it just make you want to die?
Yeah.
Isn't it just the absolute worst to be really into a movie and then they bring in some CGI and you're like, what? That looks so bad. And, like, totally pulls you out.
So, the other day, we watched Silent Hill, and it was in 2006, so it had the chance to have some kind of cool CGI. But, like, if you've seen Silent Hill, and if you haven't, this is more, like, lore than it is something spoilery. But when you're in Silent Hill, like, during the nighttime, basically the whole landscape shifts and, like, demons come out. So that transformation, it's supposed to be, like, the reality sort of, like, tearing away into nothingness. But it just looks like there's poop flying from the floor. And it's like, I don't want that. And then it's so bad. It's really bad. And then, like, it like the transformation's over, and then you're fine. And you're like, okay, we're good now. But it's so bad.
And then CGI monsters show up, and they're so ugly.
Straight out of
2006 CGI monsters.
It was like we were playing like a PS2 game, but with real actors in part of it.
Yes,
it was rough, big rough.
Life.
Silent Hill was a video game,
right?
Yeah.
So I guess they did a good job at capturing what video games were like in 1999 and 2006. But I doubt that's what they were going for.
What a roast! I'm so dead.
But back to the main topic.
Yes, the main topic is that instead of having those ugly moments, just do animation.
Yeah, it would be...
Oh, and animators and everyone in the crew of an animated show, they're treated like shit, dude. These companies do not give a single fuck about these animators. It is so sad. Like, literally, anytime a show ends and their contracts are up, these animators come out in waves. And they're like, yeah, I pitched these ideas, but they were shut down for being too progressive or being too forward-thinking. And then Some of them, like, would literally get pay cuts for no reason and never knew their, like, schedule for their show. They didn't know when their show was going to air. And they didn't know when they planned to, like, finally produce them. Because the episodes, for the most part, would just be, like, done, but just never aired.
It sucks, and it happens to so many of the better shows. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, I have some examples. So just so you guys know how shitty and how often this happens to people. So for The Legend of Korra, halfway through season 3, they pull it off the air and put it exclusively on their website. And then all the last season of the show was just on the website. And there's one episode in the last season that is just like a clips episode, like a bunch of flashbacks. But the producers literally said that Nickelodeon gave them an ultimatum to either cut their budget and let go of some staff or just do a clips episode. And so they were like, okay, so we'll do the clips episode. Like, how fucked up is that? And then for Steven Universe, the creators and writers had no idea when their show was going to air. There were so many periods where the episodes would come out like in what they called Steven bombs. Like, literally Cartoon Network made it a thing that they only showed up once in a blue moon. And would drop like 5 episodes, one every day of the week. But like once every other month. And it was fucking awful. I was
weird.
like, how am I supposed to like stay attached with the story if it happens like so rarely? Mm-hmm. And then Gravity Falls, it was the same thing. That show has only 2 seasons and a limited amount of episodes, but it took 4 years to tell a 2-season story.
And even when it did air, it was on Disney XD.
And then it got moved again, and it was just like bullshit. It was absolute bullshit. And the show itself took a huge hiatus like every other episode, but one time it went from June of one year to July of the next year is when they picked back up. Literally a year without episodes, and we were just like, is it even airing still? Like, what the fuck?
And wasn't the creator like, the episodes are done?
I don't know what they're doing with them.
We're just waiting.
Yeah. And when their shows do get canceled, they usually are never given a reason why.
Yeah. But other than that, like, animation's like so cute.
It's so cute, but they're treated like garbage. So that's why we want you guys to like watch them, because they deserve the recognition. Mm-hmm. Because these shows are good,
really good,
and there's so much heart in it, and they work so long on these shows. Okay, so today we're gonna recommend 2 different shows. They are both spooky vibe and very fall. So watch them because they're great. So the first one we're going to do is Over the Garden Wall. Mm-hmm. And Over the Garden Wall came out 2014, 6 years ago. So if you've seen it up until this day, it's crazy to think that. 6 years, life-changing. Am I right, ladies?
100%.
Life-changing!
But it's such a timeless show.
It is. Because after you watch it for the first time, you always have to play it to get into the spooky vibe. You always have to play it at least once every fall.
And there's so many little Easter eggs in it, just to watch back over and be like,
Yeah, that make references to, like, the final episode. Like, after you watch the last episode, you know everything. So then when you go back and watch it again, like, you see all the little clues and little hints, and it's just, like, it's so good.
it is so freaking good.
Okay, so, like, the first big thing about it is that Over the Garden Wall is about 2 brothers who are venturing through the unknown with a little blue jay helping them. But the whole thing is that they don't know how they got there, and they're just trying to find a way out. And it is so beautifully designed. The aesthetic is amazing. It's the writers and creators have said that it's based off of old Americana. It's just like you can feel it everywhere with like they hand paint all the backgrounds, and it just looks like it's printed on canvas, and it's just so beautiful all the time.
Yeah, the detailing is so wonderful, and the music is otherworldly.
The music is something else, let me tell you.
Amazing. The composition, the orchestration, all the instrumentation, the sound mixing, the sound editing. But let me tell you this. It is so good that on the DVD there's an option to watch the whole series with only the music and no dialogue.
And we've done it.
And it
is
a journey.
So peaceful. It is like
it's amazing. Our theme song has a lot of like inspiration from some of the music in Over the Garden Wall.
Yes, absolutely.
It's so freaking good.
If you look up Nicholas's artist account, N.A.C.C, you will get those vibes as well. Mm-hmm. And they are just amazing.
It's so good.
But the other thing about Over the Garden Wall is that the story is so compelling that it'll bring you to tears.
It will.
Because you really get to know these characters within these 10 episodes, and the relationship between the brothers gets so deep, and you learn so much about them. And that, like, in the final moments, when this big dramatic, like, event happens, it moves you, and it's so good. Mm-hmm. And you get invested with all the characters.
That's what I was going to say, because I was like, even though that's, like, the root of the plot, all of the other character interactions are so interesting.
And the last thing is that the spooky vibes it gives you are serotonin to the veins.
The creatures that you see, because it's like just this unknown world.
But like everything is fall, everything is the change of the season. It is so beautiful. All these like earthy colors. It's spooky and it's fun, and you should watch it.
Yeah.
Period. Next is Infinity Train. Infinity Train is a show that was on Cartoon Network, and then when season 3 was supposed to come out, they said, LOL, no, and they put it on HBO Max instead.
Mm-hmm. But it is so good.
It is so good. So here's the thing about Infinity Train. This girl, she wakes up on a train. What? And each cart is a different world. Different environments, different people, different creatures. Mm-hmm. And she has a glowing number on her hand.
She doesn't know what it means.
She doesn't know what it does.
She meets so many wacky characters. And she just knows she has to move forward to try to like figure out what the fuck is going on on this day.
And anytime like something happens, her number starts to go down or it starts to go up. And it's very crazy seeing the thought process behind all that.
I just poked my eyeball.
What?
It's okay.
But the thing is, each season is a different contained story.
Which are like, those are my favorite when it's like almost like an anthology series, except
it's still in the same world.
Yeah.
Continuation of the story.
Yeah, because it's also, that's just a testament to the world building and how interesting.
It's really like a lot of spin-offs.
Yeah, and I love that.
But it's one show. But it's one show.
Because they built such an interesting base for the show that literally I'm interested to watch anything about it because it's so intriguing.
Yeah, and then the second season is about this guy who wakes up on the train and this other one that's like
this other one.
Well, because I can't really say. Is a part of the creatures of the train and cannot leave but wants to. And it makes for a very interesting story. Mm-hmm. And then in this third one that just came out on HBO Max, it is crazy. It is so dark. It is so violent. Mm-hmm. Jarring, one might say. So I get it. I understand why they put on HBO Max because that bitch was intense.
And it's also so ethical. Like the whole series is like
it's about ethics and like what's ethical
questions. But they make it so much more. Like they add layers and layers and layers on that question because the first one it's like just like the basic ethical question, but they manage to like twist it and bend it and make you think of it in so many different ways.
Yeah,
and that's what's interesting to watch as well.
It's crazy. It's cuckoo bananas. And the third season is about these two people who basically live on the train. Mm-hmm. And they're about their friendship and about like what's right and what makes a good person.
And like analyze this friendship too, and like
yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's wild.
It was like a therapy session. Let me tell you,
it was more than a therapy session.
But like the environments are so cool because they're all so wildly different, and like a lot of them are really clever and funny. Mm-hmm. And all the wacky characters you meet are like iconic characters. Like there's this big blob
of water
who's like a salesman, and he's selling you a donut hole maker, but it's just a pipe. Like it's a pipe.
It's a pipe.
Drain pipe. He's like, let me tell you.
Oh yeah,
let me
tell
you how I can make this donut hole maker.
Like Korg.
Yeah, literally
exactly like Korg.
Exactly like Korg. He's like,
hey there, bud. You want to learn how to make a donut holder?
Yeah,
and he's just this water.
You sounded like you were in the 1920s.
Hey there, bud. You want to make a donut holder? Yeah, take this.
Yeah, all the characters are so iconic, and this show is just like it's each season is like 10 episodes, but they tell such a compact, good story within those 10 episodes.
Yes.
And it's It's a big spooky time because there were a lot of times where I clutched my pearls and I was like,
Yeah.
it was freaked me out.
My favorite character is this little robot named 1-1, and he's like this ball, but he can pop into two, and he has like two different people, but in one mind, and one's super happy and positive, and then the other one's like super depressing, and it's the comedy unparalleled.
Yeah, Infinity Train is a good ass time, and the creator of Infinity Train is Owen Dennis. And the first time we had watched this show, we found the pilot on YouTube, and it was like I go through this weird phase where I just like watch really random things on YouTube that are like pilots or audition tapes. Like I just like to look. I don't know. And I watched the pilot of the show, and usually these pilots are pilots for a reason. Like they never really get picked up if they're on YouTube, but they did pick the show up, and the announcement was insane because there's like a theme song for this show, and it is scary. And we were like so excited, but they changed the style a little bit, but they made it much more intense. Those are our 2 recommendations. You should watch them because they are because they are good. I don't know what I was gonna say. I said fuck.
You good? I just would be remiss if I didn't take this time to mention the crowning jewel of horror animation, which would be Scary Godmother's Halloween Spectacular. That is what I have to say today. Good night, America.
But not just today. He says it every day.
It needs to be said.
These 2 shows are really good. They're really great, and I think you should watch them. And you should also look into like supporting more animated shows because they're great. And animators are not paid a lot, but they make fantastic work for the masses. We treat animated shows and movies like shit. But the fact is, like, we should spread the word that it is entertaining. The storytelling nowadays is so profound and deep. What is wrong with you?
Keep going.
What?
Fucking talk.
No. No, I will not. Why do you look like that? What are you laughing about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know?
I don't. It's just coming out of left field for me. I don't. Animators are not paid enough for what they do. They make such fantastic pieces of work, and for so many people that appreciate it, what also sucks is the job security, because I understand, like, obviously shows don't last forever, but the ease of letting animators go after one show is done,
dude, oh my god,
insane.
It's so sad. A lot of these animators, okay, so for Infinity Train, they want to make more seasons, and they're actually not like canceled right now, and they're just on like a weird limbo, and all the animators were let go, but like told like you're not fired, but you're not working, and they're like, what? And so like Cartoon Network apparently like wants more people to watch it, so to see if it's like worth it. But it's like, what else are you using your money on? Teen Titans Go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening here? You're spending your money on all these like crazy ass child friendly shows, but like your interesting stuff that's daring and tells like a cool story, you're just gonna be like, we'll see.
And it's like, it sucks because it's not even like they're making like adult shows that air on television. It's literally for like anyone of any ages can gain so much from it.
But yeah, like they literally their jobs are horrible because they have no job security and they never know like what's gonna happen to their show, what's gonna happen to them.
Unless you work on The Simpsons or Family Guy,
You're fucked.
you're fucked.
And South Park,
And South Park.
3 shows that will never end.
No matter how hard they try to end Family Guy.
Yes, but yeah, like the character development that happens in animated shows and movies is like always so moving and so engaging.
Yeah, and I would argue it's completely different from any other art form. The same way if you go to a play, the connection you have with the actors are completely different from like if you're watching a movie.
And like all you have of these characters are their voices, and some of these voice actors do amazing stuff, and it's so crazy to me that they don't get more recognition like for awards and stuff.
We didn't even mention that in Over the Garden Wall, the lead character is Elijah Wood.
Well, now you know.
Sorry, it came to my head and I didn't want to forget.
It's okay.
And that,
they just deserve more recognition, and it's just so powerful. And like we could have what anime has, but for animation companies here, like these indie companies are trying so hard to push the medium forward, but like people just need to watch their stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you guys just went to go watch Infinity Train, they'd be able to make more seasons, and wouldn't that just be a treat? But yeah, that's everything. We're gonna do our vibe check. Chris, what did we eat today? It's
Smokies Edibles.
Smokies Edibles. Blue raspberry, very delicious, very sour. They were 5 milligrams of THC, and it hit harder than usual.
They're 10 milligrams.
Well, there you go. They're 10 milligrams. When they hit, dude, I was like,
What did I say?
whoa.
I said it felt like someone was touching your...
The back of your head?
No, someone was touching your brain with their finger.
But yeah, it was very delicious. I would recommend 10 out of 10.
Smokies Edibles have a lot of really good ones.
We eat them a lot here. This one is a new flavor. I love it. And so far, we have watched so many of the scary movies, but we'll just talk about a few of our favorites. Chris?
We just watched A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
We did.
Oh, I think I said it right, too. That one, stunning, phenomenal. I couldn't agree more. Loved it.
Absolutely.
One of the fails, we just watched In the Tall Grass on Netflix.
What a dumb movie.
Oh, you had such cool monsters. What an interesting concept. You had me grasped.
You had me grasped.
Grasped!
Like grass.
Like, comment, and subscribe because we're amazing.
Okay, but yeah, we watched it and it was very stupid. And then the other movie that we watched that we liked, we watched The Descent. Oh, bitch.
Vomit.
Scared
Not
as...
vomit. Ugh, it's so bad. Vomit. It's so good.
It's so scary. But yeah, that's what we watched so far, and we're really excited to watch the next ones because next we're watching Doctor Sleep, and that's going to be a jam and a half. Yeah, that's our vibe check.
And if you haven't seen it yet, watch Rosemary's Baby. What are you doing?
We also have a little thing to tell you guys. We're going to be posting some new stuff through the Anchor/Spotify collaboration that recently came out. So keep your eyes and ears open.
I guess now
We're
the goodbye guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Like, the amount of drunk I stood up and I was like, Bart.
You're like, Bart.
Come here.
I'm trying to move your foot out of Bart. Bart. Bart, I swear to God. Thank you. Come here.
Come here.
Come here. Get him over here. Get him over here. Get him over here. Bart. Get over here. Come here. Stop.
Teddy.
Oh my God. Really? After everything I've given you. After everything I've done for you. Why? Have you ever been hurt before by someone who's come into our home? It's not different. Please stop. Thank you.
Anyway.
I I guess now we're the goodbye guys.
So long.
I guess now we're the goodbye guys.
See you later.
I guess now we're the goodbye guys.
Adios.
Ba-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-bop, bop.